Okay, so in this session of nitrogen cycle discussion, so initially first we will discuss on how a rhizobium bacteria will identify different species of rhizobium will identify specific leguminous crops, how they will enter inside the roots of these crops, how they will form nodules and fix nitrogen. So afterwards we will study the complete cycle of the nitrogen cycle. Okay, so to begin with, so we will start with the process of nodule formation by rhizobia in leguminous plants. So there are different stages. There are different stages in which rhizobium recognizes a particular species of leguminous plants, enter inside and form nodules. So these stages can be divided into 4 or 5 stages. The first stage is in the process of nodule formation is recognition of the correct partner and attachment of bacteria on the root hairs. So here the recognition of partner with respect to rhizobium species and also the recognition of partner by plant on plant the particular bacteria, both are important. That is, both the partner has to recognize each other initially. So okay, here what will happen is the plant, each plant, whether it's a leguminous plant or other plants, so during its growth, when its roots are developing, some portion of the photosynthase will be released into the soil as root exudates to attract some of the beneficial bacteria. Similarly here, the leguminous plant will produce lot of root exudates to encourage the growth of beneficial bacteria in its root zone. So here, if there is any rhizobium which is present in the root zone, so they, by utilizing these nutrients, they will grow in larger numbers. So these plants, during the production of root exudate, they produce some signal elements or signal molecules called as flavonoids. So these flavonoids are targeted towards the rhizobium. So if there is any rhizobium which is present in the vicinity of the roots of legume, so rhizobium will accept this signal. In turn, it will produce signals, another type of signals called lectins. So plant will produce flavonoids and rhizobium will produce lectins as signal molecules. Once the bacteria identifies flavonoids, it goes and sits on in the right side you can see, so it goes and sits on the root hairs or newly emerging roots. Okay, so once goes and sits, so that is the end of first stage, that is recognition of the correct partner and attachment of bacteria onto root hairs. So the second stage is called curling and deformation of the roots. So once bacteria sits on the root hairs, so it will produce another type of signal molecules called as nod factors, N-O-D, nod factors. So these nod factors will be taken up by the plant. These signals are taken up by the plants after the, one second. So after the production of nod factors, the root hairs on which the rhizobium are sitting will be curled down. It will form a hook-like structure so that the bacteria will come inside. It is called shepherd-crook structure. So once the bacteria sits on this, they produce nod factor. So after the production of nod factor, the plant curls the root. It bends the root and form a curling structure. Okay, this is the curling and deformation is the second step. In the third step, formation of infection thread and entry of rhizobium inside the root. So here, after the curling, so there will be one inside the root. So you can see the right side here also in the second picture. So root there will be a formation of one column. It's called as an infection thread. So the plant forms a column or way for the entry of rhizobium inside the cortex cells. So that column or thread is called as a infection thread. So this infection thread is formed by plant for the entry of the bacteria. So once there is a formation of infection thread, the bacteria will start moving inside this column. So while moving inside this column also, the bacteria will keep on multiplying. Okay. So next is the travel to the main route via infection thread. So through this infection thread, the bacteria will move intracellularly, will enter the cortex region, will enter the root region. Cortex region. 1 minute. Will enter the cortex region. Once it enters the cortex region, the thread will enter into the multiple cells intracellularly. So within the cells of the outer cortical cells, this will be the thread will branch out. So after branching out, next is formation of deformed bacterial cells and bacteroids and nodule. So once they enter inside the cortex cells, so these infection thread will open up. This infection thread will open up. The bacterial cells will be dumped into the cells. So once bacteria enter inside the cells, so it will multiply further and form nodules. I will explain that in the next slide. So these are the 4 stages. So this question, approximately 60 to 80% of the times you will get this question in final exam. So once again, I will tell the stages in nodule formation. So while explaining the through picture in the next slide. So here, so this is the first stage. This is the first stage where the rhizobia will recognize the flavonoids produced by the plants. They come and sit on the root hairs. They come and sit on the root hairs. So afterwards, they will produce flavonoids. In the second picture, they will produce flavonoids. So after recognizing the flavonoids and lectins produced by rhizobium, so the root hairs will curl down. It will form a shepherd hook structure. So to protect the rhizobium cells. So afterwards, further, the root hair will start forming a column, or it is called as a infection thread. It start forming a infection thread. So through this infection thread, the rhizobium will start moving inside the root. Okay, so this infection thread will move so into the cortex cells, and in the cortex cells, it branches and moves into different cells inside the cells. Intracellularly, it will move. Afterwards, the next step what will happen is, so this infection thread will open up inside the cells and it will release a huge quantity of bacteria. So immediately after the rhizobium are released into the cells, they multiply at a very faster rate. So these cells will behave differently inside the nodule or inside the plant, and also when they are inside the or when they are outside the plant. That means in the soil they will look differently. Inside the nodules they look differently. So once they are released into the cells, they multiply rapidly. So and they become bigger in size, and their cell shape will change. They become deformed. So they will contain more bigger vacuoles, and the cells will start becoming like a branched one or irregular shape. So in these conditions, the bacteria, the rhizobium bacteria, which has become deformed, bigger in size with bigger vacuoles, is called bacteroid. It's called bacteroid. I will repeat once again in the next slide. So these deformed cells are bacteroid, and rhizobium will become deformed when they are present inside the nodule, and they fix nitrogen only in this forum. Okay, they are called bacteroid. So afterwards, So even when they are multiplying, even when rhizobium are multiplying inside the cortex cells, they go on producing the different NOD factors. There are 21 NOD genes which will produce different molecules or different chemicals which are called as a NOD factors. So with the production of these NOD factor, the cells in which they are present, so they will start the plant cells in which rhizobium are present. So in response to the production of NOD factor, so they start multiplying rapidly. So they also, like cancerous cells, they multiply rapidly and they form nodules. Okay. So in these nodules, so rhizobium will be present in the form of bacteroids. So, and the rhizobium, the cells presenting rhizobium and other cells, they have a connection for exchange of nutrients. So, and also whatever the ammonia that is fixed by this rhizobium will also be shared with the plant cell. So this is the process of nodule formation by rhizobium. So this you need to read. So this is another picture which is showing the same stages, nodule, the process of nodule formation by rhizobium. Okay, so I'll move on. So this slide, so you observe this carefully. So I was telling you that once rhizobium enters the plant cortical cells, they multiply rapidly, they become deformed, they become irregularly shaped or branched with with bigger vacuoles, so which are called bacteroids. So here in this photo, you can see A. So this is the rhizobium cells. So A, what is this? A rod-shaped rhizobium cells which will be present in the soil. So when they start entering into the roots through infection thread, so they start deforming A, B, C, and D. So in D, you can see they are fully deformed. So these are called bacteroids. So I have taken some definition. There is no correct definition of bacteroid, but still I have tried to give. In left-hand side, you can see. So the enlarged, branched or club-shaped vacuolated bacteria present in the root nodules of legumes are called as bacteroids. Okay. So this is the important portion I wanted to cover. So continuing, so another important question, so which you may get in your exams is, okay. So before this, before coming back to this, I will come back here. I'll come back here. Okay. So in nodules, in rhizobium nodules, I don't know where is that. Rhizobium nodules. Okay. So here, so the picture what you are seeing here, after the formation of nodules, so there will be one kind of chemical, like hemoglobin is produced in these nodules. So this leg hemoglobin is of very much importance. So why means this leg hemoglobin functions similar to the hemoglobin in our blood. So this leg hemoglobin will carry the oxygen similar to the hemoglobin. Okay. So why this is produced is, please listen. So the nitrogenase enzyme, which is responsible for conversion of nitrogen gas into ammonia, is highly sensitive to oxygen. So the nitrogenase enzyme will not function if there is a more concentration of oxygen or if there is an oxygen. So wherever it is carrying out the nitrogen fixation, So if there are any oxygen present, so they need to be scavenged off or they need to be removed. So to protect the nitrogenase enzyme from the oxygen, so different nitrogen fixing microorganism, maybe Azotobacter, maybe Azoospermillum, maybe Rhizobium. So they have different mechanism to protect the nitrogenase enzyme from oxygen. So to protect the nitrogenase from oxygen in Rhizobia, so they produce a chemical called leg hemoglobin. And this leg hemoglobin cannot be produced either by a plant or Rhizobium alone. So plant ge individual agi leg hemoglobin na produce ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. And also Rhizobium also cannot produce this leg hemoglobin separately. So only when Rhizobium is present in the plant, in the nodules, so plant and Rhizobium are together, joined together and produce this leg hemoglobin. So here heme part is produced by bacteria, and globin part is produced by plant. They combine to form a hemoglobin. Okay, this for information. I'll come back to the previous one. Okay, so the next important question which may be asked in the exam with respect to nitrogen fixation or nitrogen cycle is how the nitrogenase enzyme is protected from oxygen in different nitrogen fixing organisms. Okay, or explain the mechanism of protection of nitrogenase enzyme from oxygen. So this is because I was already telling that nitrogenase is sensitive to oxygen. If there is oxygen, nitrogenase will not work. Okay. And also majority of these organisms which fix the nitrogen except Clostridium pastorianum are aerobic. That means they require oxygen for their normal metabolic processes. So in each cell there will be presence of oxygen. So how they are going to protect the nitrogenase then? There are different mechanisms. Okay. So the first one is in Azotobacter. So this Azotobacter, it's a free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. So it is known to have a mechanism. There are two mechanisms which is employed by Azotobacter to protect the nitrogenase enzyme from oxygen. One is it is having a very high respiratory rate, and also respiratory metabolism. So because of which whatever the oxygen is present, it will be rapidly utilized by metabolic activity, and it will make sure that there will not be presence of excess oxygen to damage the nitrogenase enzyme. Okay, another mechanism which is employed by Azotobacter is Azotobacter around its cell wall, it produces a lot of capsule. It produces a lot of capsule or slime. So because on the cell wall or cell membrane, there is a presence of huge amount of mucus or capsule, the entry of air itself will be restricted. That means there is a slow or a lower concentration of oxygen will enter inside the cell, and this lower concentration will be utilized by faster metabolism. So this is the mechanism in Azotobacter. In case of Azoospermillum, so which is a microaerophilic organism, so it is known to present in the places where there is a very low concentration of the oxygen, especially on the surface of the root or just below the surface of the root. That is inside the root it will be present where there will be presence of low concentration of oxygen. So in these areas it will be present, and here it is also has a faster rate of metabolism. So where whatever the oxygen is there, it will try to utilize. That is in case of Azoospermillum. And in case of blue-green algae, or cyanobacteria, so nitrogen is not fixed in all the cells. Nitrogen is not fixed in all the cells. Here you can see heterocyst is written. So this is a blue-green algae. So the bottom picture is also blue-green algae. So here nitrogen fixation takes place in only specialized cell. So in between 10 or 15 vegetative cells, there will be a one bigger cell which is called as an heterocyst. So this heterocyst has a very thick walled cell. So to reduce the rate of entry of oxygen. Okay. And also, since it's a photosynthetic organism, so it will lack photosystem 2. It will lack photosystem 2 where there is a production of oxygen. So it will not produce oxygen during its photosynthesis in heterocyst, and it has a thick walled layer which will reduce the rate of entry of oxygen. By this mechanism, blue-green algae will protect the oxygen, protect the nitrogenase from oxygen. So here in left-hand side, there are two plates having a culture. The top one is Azotobacter. So bottom one is also Azotobacter, which is grown on different media. So why I have taken this plate is to show that, so how lot of mucus is produced on the cell. In the top plate, it is not clear, you may not see. So in the bottom plate, you can see that more amount of mucus is produced, or capsule or extracellular polysaccharide is produced, which will reduces the rate of entry of air inside the cell. And another, the mechanism employed by rhizobium, I have already explained. That means rhizobium inside the nodules, they produce one chemical called leg hemoglobin. So if there is any excess oxygen, it will hold it and it will take away from the site of nitrogenase or from the site of nitrogen fixation. So this is an important question. So you should read this. These are the mechanism of protection of nitrogenase enzyme from oxygen. Okay. So another 5 or 6 minutes are left. Before explaining the nitrogen cycle, I will take a break now. I'm sorry.